All right, y'all. Today we've got a real special one for you, so stay tuned. All right, y'all, welcome back. So we've got a really special vlog for you today, and this one's going to be a little bit different than the format that I'm used to doing with the other vlogs that tend to be very fast and kind of more cinematic. This vlog today is going to be sort of a recording of a Zoom meeting that I had last week with Frank McDonough of the Barebow Project. In this video today, it's going to be a very candid conversation that he and I had because I reached out to him about some training issues that I've been having and some struggles that I've been having with my training and trying to build up to the Mark 3D Nationals, as well as getting ready for the Barebow Boot Camp coming up really soon. In this conversation, there's a lot of good stuff that he ended up going over and that we ended up talking about. He had a lot of really great suggestions and some really great drills. We had a lot of other really good conversation stuff in regards to Barebow and some other things. So this is a good one. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's going to be a little bit longer than I've normally done before. So like I said, I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one, and I really think you should grab a pen and paper or some way of writing down some notes because there's a ton of great information in this one today. I'm really excited to bring this one to you, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get to it.
I'm good, dude. So it's exciting. I mean, honestly, the coaching is what I enjoy more than anything. I love shooting and I love competing. I still have a lot of that blood in me, but coaching is definitely, it's just because I have an eye for movement and have been around it for a long time through other sports and others and stuff. So and there's just not a lot of people to do it.
Well, that's kind of why I'm reaching out to you, man, because I know you do a lot of coaching, and I really respect you and what you guys are doing with the Barebow Project. And already you guys have, whether you know it or not, buddy, like right before Lancaster 2020, man, I was struggling and having a lot of issues. I hit a peak and then I dropped off a lot, and like about a month and a half before Lancaster, I saw a market drop in my scores. And some of the stuff that you guys were talking about with the Barebow Project and some of the videos you guys put out helped me out a ton and got me back on track. And by the time I hit Lancaster, I was back where I was. And it was, so that's what I mean. That's why I'm reaching out to you right now. Yeah, just seeking some more advice and possibly some coaching, trying to help me get back on track again, because obviously this whole COVID situation's knocked everybody off their game for a little bit. Even hearing like Demmer say he hadn't shot his bow in like 3 months or something, I'm the same. Like I set my bow down and I didn't know what was going to happen.
So what is your goal?
My goal is to get back in shape towards like where I was around January, February. I've lost a lot of stamina and strength. My form is kind of hurting because of it. Like right now, currently having issues with building my bow strength back up. I was shooting for outdoor last year. I was shooting about 42 pounds on the fingers. And right now, I mean, at Lancaster, I was shooting about 34, 35 pounds. And basically since then, I'm just kind of trying to get my strength.
Do you know where you're at right now?
Right now, I'm pulling 38, 39 with the current new setup that I've got.
And what game are you training for primarily?
Currently training for the Mark 3D Nationals. So distances that we'll be shooting at are as close as 11 feet all the way out to 100 yards. So I think my longest shot possibly at this tournament is going to be 93 or something like that, maybe. But usually really? I can expect, definitely, dude. Last year,
NFAA?
Yeah, NFAA, dude, they don't play around, man. You're tossing arrows 100 yards. And last year when I shot the NFAA Mark 3D, we were shooting 100 for sure.
My mind goes to, this is what I know. I know that the more comfortable I am on the weight, the better my aim and my form is. Now, I'm not saying that you want to go down to 35 pounds. I'm saying that there's a diminishing return on when you increase poundage.
Agreed,
When 42 is a reasonable weight, but you can still shoot a 600 spine at 42 pounds. You just got to back the tip weight off a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't want to go much below 110.
Yeah.
So you got to try to find that, and I'm fortunate to shoot with John pretty often, and we've had these discussions, and I've changed my tune 2 weeks before Outdoor Nationals.
Yeah.
And part of it was I already shot the 110, but I had 50 millimeter XS swings, and I was getting all kinds of contact, and like my frustration level was through the roof. And I did go to the 70 millimeter XS swings, and they made a world of difference. Like the forgiveness that I got just from making that switch was incredible, and it showed shooting in the wind. For the point on, for me, like I have my arrow cut pretty short, and I have a long draw length, but I'm only shooting like 38, 39 pounds. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to hold that bad boy and be as relaxed as possible at full draw, regardless of all that. You know, where are you then on your shooting? Like, what are you doing? What's your goal? And
so
address that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So when I contacted you originally, I was kind of telling you a little bit about, I've been using Jay Kaminsky's book over the past couple of years now to sort of base my training off of training for archery, and sort of building these periodization, sort of training regimens that have been going on. But really, they're kind of just made up, right? I'm just sort of basing it off of my own experience, and which is limited and stuff. And that's also why I was reaching out to you guys, because y'all have a lot more experience with competition and training and coaching. And so right now I've got myself set up with essentially 2 4-week cycles that are stacking. And so right now I'm on my baseline week, and by the time I get to the Barebow boot camp, I'll be reaching kind of a resting, peaking period. And then once I come back from that, rolling in towards October, it'll be starting over again and kind of ramping up and hopefully peaking again sometime around October 10th and 11th. And as far as that goes, just, varying my load of shooting, focusing on bear shaft shooting tonight. I did a lot of bear shaft shooting tonight, but also blind bale work. And then today, honestly, I was working on tension and direction. And so that's kind of what I used my focus to work on tonight, as well as just cardio, and then hitting some calisthenics and weight training as well.
The periodization that you're attempting to program, what does that look like for a 4-week period?
Right now, my total maximum arrow volume maximum is going to be 200. And so everything is based off of that. So my maximum week that I have leading up to that I'm sort of building towards is a 200 max volume. This week, the max volume is 160, which was supposed to be tonight, but obviously, you and I are talking, and that's a little more important to me than smoking 160 tonight. So I'll probably add it on to my day tomorrow.
Okay.
But yeah, anywhere from, it varies depending on the percentage that I'm working on that day. So yesterday I shot 80. The day before that I shot 110. And tomorrow is supposed to be a pretty low kind of, sort of more low arrow count volume.
I got you. What week is this for you? If you had to count down, as
this is
week number 1 was the week of your competition, what week, or how do you do it?
Okay, so in terms of the periodization sort of system that I've set up for myself right now, this would be if the competition is week 1, this is week 8. And I'm sort of building, ramping up, and then dropping off, building and ramping up again right before, and then dropping off.
You know what periodization is? So your periodization isn't just an archery thing. It's actually more popular in the Olympic weightlifting world.
Yeah.
But it's not really much different in like the basketball world or any other sport where coaches scale back, a few days, a week before a big competition or whatever. You're more than capable of shooting 200 arrows a week. You definitely. I'll give you an example. So.
Well, I mean, when I say maximum, I don't mean max for that week. I mean like my maximum on a certain given day. is
Okay.
200. So like
Okay.
today I was
Okay.
supposed to shoot 160. On my maximum week on that next Thursday is 200. So
Yeah.
I may be shooting like maybe close to like 400, I think, this week if I.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you're the furthest week out, you can definitely somewhere between 400 and 500 is a great place to be. But it's going to vary for everyone. Don't be hell bent on those being scored arrows. They don't have to be.
Yeah.
If you shoot 60 blind veil,
Yeah.
those are legitimate shots. If you do,
I love
if
it.
you do, yeah. If you do, are you doing any draw holds at all?
So at this point, I've been doing a little bit of it, but not nearly as much. I've been trying to really just ease back into it. But yes, I had planned on getting into some draw holds for sure.
Okay, well, you need to. They do make work wonders for the aim, and they build your strength, and they are easy on the body. And if you do a 15-second draw hold, that counts as 3 shots. So you can count that towards your volume. So if you're going to shoot, I'll give you an example. When you're going to the local stuff, you should be doing draw holds on those targets to get used to where your aim is.
Okay.
And you're going to find that if you go and do a 5-second or a 3-second draw hold on that animal before you shoot at it, that when you come back and you put the tip on the arrow or the tip of the arrow on the animal, it's just gonna go. It's gonna go there, and you're gonna be relaxed. It's gonna feel right. And the reason that is because moments ago you made a little etch in your brain of the way it was supposed to feel, and because you're doing it immediately following, it's gonna feel the way it's supposed to. When you're doing your volume, you need to implement that stuff into it, especially when you're testing yourself for a week or something.
Yeah.
If you're, I'm just going to give you an example. Say you shoot, your goal is 200 arrows one day, all right? Yes. And you're going to shoot 100 arrows in the morning and 100 arrows in the evening, or however you just choose to do it.
Okay.
The last 100 arrows, I wouldn't do it in the first one, especially if you're keeping score, but the last 100 arrows, every 5 arrows, every 6 arrows, I don't know how many you're shooting volume-wise, at a clip, if you're shooting 3 or if you're shooting 6 or whatever, implement one draw hold in with that 6.
Okay.
That counts as a volume, so that's going to take away from the actual arrows you're shooting, but it still counts. So if you do it every 6 arrows, and I did this in preparation for Outdoor National, if you go and you're doing a 3-second draw hold before you shoot your 6 arrows, you're sending the right message before you even shoot those arrows.
Okay, so to sort of make sure I'm tracking, so you're saying shooting 6 arrows, you're going to come up, you're going to draw, hold.
Get your anchor.
Get your anchor.
Put the tip of the arrow wherever you're going to aim, and you're going to mentally run the shot, but you're not going to shoot it.
Yep, and that's your first shot in the 6.
That's
your first training. It
counts toward your volume, but it's technically not a shot. You're then going to proceed and shoot your 6.
Okay.
You don't have to do that all the time, but if you are going to do that, you're going to do that at a point where after you already shot like a scored round at peak energy and peak everything else, and then this turns into like a training volume is really what it comes down to. You're going to notice that on your high volume weeks, and this is something you need to understand too. You've heard me say it before, the whole idea of embracing the suck. It's going to suck. Yeah. And you're going to feel like your form is crap, your scores aren't going to be great, and your holes are not going to be great, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Understand that happens. The double 72 that I shot with John was the end of my high volume week. So I shot 2 days, took a day off, and did blind veil 2 days, and then shot a double 72 on Sunday. Yeah. And I shot 72 in the morning and 72 in the evening with practice ends, probably 15 practice ends built in. So 6 days that week, I shot more than 144 arrows a day. Yeah. And by the time I got to that double, I was spent. But I knew I needed the volume, and I really wasn't overly upset over it. Like, I was upset because my score sucked. Yeah. And I was having some tuning issues, but I worked out the tuning issues, thanks to Demmer. He actually helped me on that one.
Yeah.
And I immediately took 3 straight days off. I came out and shot a 628, the highest score I ever shot, and like official, like it was uninterrupted, no practice, 12 ends in a row, 6 arrows. I shot 628. I've never shot that before. I've shot some like 315s or some 322 halves, but I've never put back-to-back decent rounds together.
Yeah.
And I knew it would work, but I needed to trust myself. And I knew it worked because I did it in weightlifting. That's the way we train for weightlifting meets. You got it, you cut back, and that's exactly what I did. So I took my volume, I cut my volume for the 3rd week out, which would be week number 2, your second highest volume week, and I cut it to 75% of what week 1 was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to week number 3, which would be my second lowest technically, and I cut it to 50% of what my highest volume was. Mm-hmm. And then the last week I cut it to 25%. During that last week, your focus, if you don't have it in the last week, you're not gonna find it.
Yeah.
But what you should do is you need to reaffirm your marks. You shoot your marks, and you shoot the shit out of blind bail. You do draw holds, but no more than 3 seconds at a clip. Because let's face it, most barebow shooters aren't at full draw much longer than 3 to 5 seconds max. Yeah. And so the reason that you do it that way is you're saving your body. Your body has to be at max recovery, strength, and rest. The last week, you should be watching your diet. Before this tournament, you should be watching your diet. You should be cutting your volume. You should be drinking shit tons of water. And you should be reaffirming that everything that you've worked on for the last 3 weeks is up to par. So that would be doing your blind bail to make sure that your release is absolutely as flawless as possible. Literally do blind bail until you can't get it wrong. I mean, the one thing that blind bail does do is that it remember I said about setting that signal and making that etch in your brain? Yeah. The more you get it right, the easier it will be to get it right when it means something. Yeah. When you have those moments of high personal value, you have to be able to fall back on your training to make it work. And that's why, like, the day before, the one thing that I do religiously, wherever, whatever it is, I shoot blind bail at minimum 30 arrows of blind bail before every tournament. Yeah. Every big tournament. I don't do it for local stuff. I just do it for like Lancaster, indoor nationals, outdoor nationals, that stuff. I shoot blind bail, and I shoot it literally until I can't get it wrong. I think I've probably worked more on my release than I have anything. And that's because if your release is still good on a crappy shot, the forgiveness that you get downrange, providing your bow arm is decent, it pays dividends down the road. The other thing I would do is early on, another way that you can implement strength building is do draw hold ladders. And you do a ladder, it's like you start at 5 seconds, and then you go a 5-second draw hold, 10 seconds off, 10-second draw hold, 10 seconds off, 15-second draw hold, 10 seconds off, 20-second draw hold, 10 seconds off, and go all the way up to like 45 seconds. Yeah. And then when you get to 45, come back down. Okay. It sucks. It does, yeah. It sucks. I can already. But it works. And I wouldn't do it all the time. I would only do it on high volume weeks, or at a minimum week 1 and week 2 at your highest volume weeks, but I wouldn't do it much more than that. Okay. And the other thing, don't try to do draw holds in the higher volume, like say you do like 4 sets of 4 or 4 sets of 10 or whatever. Don't try to do that before you're going to score a round. You have to do that stuff at the end, or during a section of the training that you're not overly worried about score. You're more worried about body position, building strength, and building comfort and full draw. That's kind of what I was doing tonight, really just focusing on that tension and direction towards the target, and just making sure everything felt good, and then just running a good shot and working on that follow through, past the point where the arrow hit the target. So. Yeah. I mean, The theories and the system that I use for writing programming, I mean, Maggie and all of the kids that I work with were the guinea pigs for this over a 2-year period.
Yeah.
I think at least half of them have either won a national championship, placed in the top 3, or hold national records at this point. So it absolutely works. There's no question that it works. It's just a matter of, and these kids come in for hour sessions. That's it. They come in for an hour, 2, 3, maybe 4 days a week. That's it. And they're not getting killed. They're not doing, copious amounts of work. They're coming in, they get done what they need to get done, and they go home.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the other thing that helps, is try to write it out. I mean, if you need help doing that, it's something we can discuss. But
yeah.
Is there anything else that you had questions on, or?
Yeah, I mostly just wanted to talk to you just about the periodization stuff and kind of your thoughts on that. And then also just like we were kind of talking about, getting some good strength building exercises like the ladder drill and a few other drills that you suggest. I really like the ladder drill that you suggested, and I really like the holding for 3 to 5 seconds and then shooting 6 arrows. I think that's a really solid. I haven't done those before. Mostly,
That's gonna suck.
I love that shit though, man. You're Go Ruck, so
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would say another thing you can do is a walk back drill. What's your closest target you shoot at this event?
So 11 feet, I believe. So it's just about point blank.
So you want to go up to your closest distance.
Mm-hmm.
I would get a 40 centimeter face.
Yeah.
And you need to shoot that distance until you stick 3 arrows in the 10 ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then bump back to the 5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe around 25 yards, switch to like an 80 centimeter face. And then when you get to like 40 meters, switch to the 122 centimeter face.
Okay.
And what you do is you start close and you make sure your crawl is right, and you shoot until you get 3 consecutive arrows in the middle. And then you move back.
Okay.
And then you shoot again until you get 3 consecutive arrows in the middle, and you move back. And I'm warning you, it could take hours. I've done it. It could take hours.
Yeah.
But, it forces you to get comfortable making your crawls, holding your aim, and more importantly, because you're being self-disciplined to not allow yourself to move back. And you can't move back until you make those 3 good shots. So, it can't be like if you switch to the 80 centimeter face at like 25 yards or something, and you can't shoot a 10-10-9 and be like, oh, it's close enough because you missed. No, you do it again. You have to shoot 3 10s.
Yeah.
25 yards, 3 arrows in a hole that big is decent shooting.
Yeah.
It's plenty to hit a 10 ring on a 3D target. But and then that's the other thing you can do, is you can take a 3D target and put it out there, and you have to stick all 3 arrows in the 10 ring, or maybe in the 12, or I'm not sure how the scoring goes for this, but up close, and then you gauge what's appropriate as you move back.
Yeah.
That could take a while.
Yeah.
I've done that multiple times. That could take a while. If you're not having a good day, you're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to leave until you get it at each distance. Yeah. And that stuff you can implement that stuff into your program. So, you get some really high quality, high volume arrows. Like, so you have a specific goal. That frustrates me more than people who are like, oh, I shoot every day and I shoot 60 arrows a day, but I'm not getting any better. And the archery shot is an athletic movement. You need to train it like it's an athletic movement. You can't mentally fix bad form.
Yeah.
You have crappy form, you can be all the mentally tough that you want. Sooner or later, the kink in the armor is going to come out, and it's going to come out when it matters the most.
Yeah, agreed.
Hunting, or whether you're standing on the competition line and you have Dwayne Martin standing next to you and you have to beat that guy. that's where the kinks in the armor come out. You need to fall back on your process. You need to have a well-defined process, and I recommend every shooter I work with, every single one of my kids does it. I do it. Before outdoor nationals, this is what I took. I took a pen. This is your notes, by the way. I took a pen and paper, and I defined what my shooting process was.
Yeah.
I have that memorized. It's etched in my brain up here. Every arrow down in Virginia, I ran through my process. I did not care about score. I did not think about score. I didn't give a shit about score. All I cared about was shooting my arrow as good as I possibly could, and that was it. And falling back on my process, making sure my form was good, and there's occasional times where things go a little wacky, but they still ended up okay. It's not because I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I had access to good information from John and Grayson. Yeah. But I shot a shit ton of arrows and made sure that the arrows I was shooting meant something. When you do that, dude, man, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are kind of in a similar boat in that way, because I've been shooting barebow, seriously shooting barebow for the last 2 years. I started actually shooting barebow about 3 years ago, and in 2018 fall, really started taking it seriously, and I don't know, started implementing Jake's book, and doing what I could with what I had to kind of put it together and try to make it, all the goal being then just to go to Lancaster and not too terrible,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, you shot well at Lancaster. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, well, 2019 was a little less than I did.
2019. That was my first year shooting barebow at Lancaster. Yeah. I had only been shooting barebow I officially started competing in October.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's about when I picked up the barebow again, and I was like, look, I'm going to Lancaster. I got to get ready. Yeah, dude. That's kind of what this is all about for me too, man. Really trying to, taking it seriously and approaching it in a similar way that you guys are, and approaching it as a sport, and approaching it sort of from the point of view of an athlete, and trying to get myself trained, trying to be physically fit, and implement all these things we're talking about to maximize my performance and become the best, archer that I can be, whether that's a nationally recognized archer or not. It's all about just trying to use this thing to make me a better human being. So
yeah, absolutely. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're an archer or not. That's what you want. If you're gonna put your heart and soul into something, you might as well do it right. You just can't take a willy-nilly approach to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I'm not I'm not built that way.
Me neither, dude.
And I love archery. I love just shooting arrows. It doesn't matter what bow it is.
Yeah.
But. I have a competitive edge that I just can't get rid of.
Yeah.
John Wirt, he is. I blame John for my obsession with barebow because he's the one. Yeah, I know. I haven't gotten to where I want to with barebow yet. I'm kind of transitioning to indoor preparation right now.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
That's pretty much, dude. After I gear up for this tournament in October, dude, I'm switching right over, and it's going to be all indoor after that, man.
Last year I switched to indoor in August. I finished. Last year was my first time ever shooting 50 meters barebow. I shot 2 tournaments with my Galaxy. I shot 1 with the Gilo, and they were just local. No clue what the heck I was doing really. Shot a couple. Most of them were over 600. Yeah. At least two of them were. And then August came, and I immediately was like, I'm getting ready for indoor. Yeah. I started shooting indoor in August of last summer in preparation for the Classic.
Yeah, I started early too, man. I was probably about the same amount of time, maybe 5-6 months out.
From now until January, Classic or not, dude, I'm chasing the guys that are up here. Well, I'm not going to settle. You know, and I don't, and you shouldn't either.
But yeah, you know, that's the goal, man, to try to get up there and just perform and stand amongst peers and just do the best you can, you know.
If the classic happens, I think you're going to see some new faces in the top 8 this year. I really do. There's a lot of people who are taking barebow differently. I mean, and that's kind of the goal that we had set out for. We talked very early on about American barebow.
Yeah.
The Swedes, they got it. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Some of the other countries, they have you know, Italy. You know, they still have this elite 2%, but their top 25% scores are higher than like what we have in America, and that's really what we want to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want American barebow to catch up. I mean, look at what you're doing right now. I mean, your mind's in a different place than it was a year ago. Yeah. And that's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I don't care who the hell beats me, but I want to be the best version of me that I can be. Yeah. And we need others to understand that that's where it's at.
Yeah, man. That's kind of the whole point of like part of my vlogging stuff that I've been doing, is to try and inspire people, you know, to just do that, to like whatever it takes, just like work towards your goal, push really hard, you know, make it suck, and, you know, try to become the best archer that you can possibly be, no matter what happens, you know, no matter where you end up, you know.
Yeah, and I know, you know, the reason I agreed to even do this is because I know, like, being a GRT, I know where your brain is. Yeah. I know that there's really not any quit there, that you understand that even when it does suck, you know that eventually it's going to be over and you're going to survive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, all right. Anything else?
No, I mean, just any other advice or anything else that you would want to, you know, kind of say that would help get me on the right track in the next few weeks, and I think that's probably...
This is what I'll tell you.
Okay.
Identify your shot process. All right. Identify that, and every arrow you shoot, make it your determination to think about that and that only. Doesn't matter whether it's practice or standing on the competition line, whatever that line may be, for the shooting stage. Run your process. And then, more importantly, which I've said to Maggie a million times, trust the process. Don't skip ahead. Don't try to skip steps anywhere. Trust the process, and it will work out. Run into an issue, I'm only a PM away.
Okay, man. Well,
all right.
I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me, man, and this has definitely been positive and worth the time for sure. So.
Okay, cool.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
You too, man. Later. All right, y'all. That's it for the video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was a little bit of a long one, and I really appreciate it if you stuck through the entirety of this thing. I certainly gained a lot from my conversation with Frank, and I really hope you guys pulled a lot of things from the conversation that we had. I'm super stoked to start implementing a lot of those training drills that he was talking about, and I've already started today with this week shooting 126, doing some blind bale work. And so I want to give another big shout out to Frank McDonough, and a big thank you to him and all the guys at the Barebow Project. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I've really learned a lot and gained a lot from all the content and the knowledge that you guys have been giving out over the past few months. And so if you guys are interested in checking out the Barebow Project, I've put a link down below. Go ahead and check out their YouTube channel as well as their podcast. They're always putting out really great content that's barebow and competitive archery related. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, comment, and remember, get outside, get to the range, and keep training, y'all. Let's get after it.